booties for black girl nerds.
Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Hugh, I'll start with you. This is the first time that we've seen you play such a dark and sinister character on screen like this. Was playing a character like this in this role something that you've always wanted in your career, or was this just a new and refreshing opportunity for you to snag up?
Well, it was perhaps another development of. I mean, really, I've been doing Creeps and Weirdos now for about 12, maybe more, 13 years. So it didn't feel that new.
Wow. Okay. This seemed very new for me, seeing you this dark and this sinister in this role. So, yeah, indeed. So Sophie, for you, your character has dealt with the past of her father's death and her own near-death experiences as it relates to that. And she has a bit more street smarts as opposed to Sister Paxton. Do you think that her past tragedies are what helps guide her in this situation?
Yeah, I think her past tragedies definitely strengthen her and kind of, give her that determination and just like a more of a worldliness, because she had converted later on, so she's seen more of the world. And I think it's even interesting that she chooses the belief door, because I think she just like found a community within Mormons, and I think that brought her a family, and she stuck to that, and she knows that life can be very fragile. So I just think she's been exposed to maybe a little bit more than Paxton.
Right.
And Chloe, for you, your character is naive and very vulnerable in the position that she's trapped in this home by Mr. Reed. Do you believe that she is truly naive, or that she's hiding behind a wall of being oblivious as a way to protect herself?
I don't think it's super. She's super self-aware. I think the way she communicates things and presents herself does probably make her more naive than she actually is. But I mean, even though someone is naive in a sense, it doesn't mean they. I admire her strong beliefs in things, and I feel like she's a living ignorance is bliss, but also being aware of her ignorance and choosing to be ignorant, to believe in something that might not work, but it makes her happy. So yeah. I mean, I like that. Yeah.
I love the personality dynamic of these two characters. They're like the yin and yang in this situation that they're trapped in, and it's kind of interesting how it kind of aids them in their journey together. So Hugh, back to you. I read that if there was a line in the script that you didn't understand, you would go back and research the context of that line. Can you share an example of what one of those script lines was and what kind of research you did?
I'm not sure that's quite right. What I do is go through the whole script, every tiny, minute detail of dialogue or action or whatever, and ask myself questions about why does he do that, what's going on, and very often that takes you down a rabbit hole back into his past, his childhood, and I build up this vast and probably pointless document, which is a massive biography of the character. And then I do that for weeks and weeks and weeks. I call it marinading, like a piece of meat. I just sit in this pool of the character and hope that at the end of it something good comes out.
Well, you did an incredible job with this. I mean, I definitely need to explore more of the creepier roles that you say you've done through your past works, because this far supersedes anything that I've seen in your body.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you. And it's nice to see your bedroom. Is that your bedroom?
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, thank you for taking the time to speak to Black Girl Nerds. I really appreciate the conversation and really enjoyed this film. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. See ya.
Take care. Bye. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Our pleasure.
Well, I enjoyed this film. I got a chance to see it at TIFF, and it was incredible to watch it in front of a TIFF audience. We were really spooked by this great horror film that you guys have crafted together. Scott, I'll start with you. There are a number of horror films that have come out just within this past year that have this religious backdrop within the horror genre. What is it about horror and religion that's just so fascinating to watch?
I think the idea that you can talk about religion through horror is the idea that horror is an entry point into it. I think religion and horror actually have a relationship over the eons of existence, just in terms of like violence that you can find in religion and holy texts. But I also think like the genre, it's a Trojan horse to talk about uncomfortable situations and uncomfortable topics. Religion, where we're from in Iowa, it's like if you bring up religion and start debating it at the dinner table, that's going to turn into a horror film in and of itself. But if you can go to a movie theater and see that conversation happen on screen, it makes it a little more digestible and accessible.
Indeed. And it's just interesting to see how these themes play out through this journey with these two women and this incredible protagonist character that Hugh Grant gets to play in this film. Bryan, over to you. Sister Paxton and Sister Barnes, they're like the yin and yang in this very dangerous situation that they find themselves in. One is a bit more naive, and the other one has some street smarts, which is the yin and the yang part. Do you think because they're opposites that helps aid them in their journey, or does it hinder them?
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, we were kind of writing just from, experience and having met with Mormon missionaries, and it's just such an interesting dynamic, right? When these young women go on a mission, they're paired with somebody they don't know. They're basically strangers, a stranger that you spend all day, every hour with, and you have to form these kind of awkward friendships. And we always loved this notion of one is more the prototypical kind of bubbly, naive, good-willed Mormon missionary, which is played by Chloe East, and the other is a little bit more world-weary and darker, and maybe she's kind of hiding a conflicted sense of her faith, and having them be on different spectrums gave us an opportunity to let the audience as well as Mr. Reed underestimate them, and it also gave good interplay for the discourse, which is what this movie is about. We wanted the movie to kind of represent a lot of different points of view on religion, so that it was kind of a healthy conversation. And certainly as writers, our job is to have empathy and put ourselves in every character's shoes and feel what they're feeling and understand why they have the thoughts that they have, and respect and honor that. It was just that dynamic gave, I think, the characters an arsenal to fight Reed, and also hopefully surprise him.
Yeah, I love the dynamic between these two women and how their personalities are tested in this journey that we get to witness in this film. Scott, back to you. Why blueberry pie? is there a specific significance with using that particular flavor for the scene? Any Easter eggs that we should know about with that?
I think it's just from our personal point of view. If somebody's making blueberry pie, it's a little odd. I don't think we've ever walked into a house and somebody's making that. Usually it's apple pie in our quintessential Iowa experience, and so it felt a little off-putting at first.
We also love this. There's this moment in the scene where Hugh mishears Lou Gehrig's disease as blueberry disease, which was something that happened in our real life. That was like we're at a family dinner, and somebody misunderstood. Our grandma passed away from Lou Gehrig's disease, and somebody misheard that as blueberry. Oh, blueberry disease! That's wonderful. How amazing! So we're always writing down things that happen from real life and then connecting them with ideas that manifest in horrifying ways.
Well, this film was incredible. I definitely have a different relationship with Blueberry Pie after seeing it. But I really enjoyed this, and thank you so much for taking the time to speak to Black Girl Nerds. I appreciate the conversation.
Of course.
Our honor. Thank you.
Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds.